to start Armed Services Saturday on CBS Sports Network. College football is presented by the Home Depot. You're watching Armed Services Saturday on CBS Sports Network from here at Yulman Stadium in New Orleans. Army West Point, the first of 3 service academies on our air today. And tonight, the Black Knights pay a visit to Tulane of the American Conference. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to New Orleans. So great to have with us Dave Ryan alongside Corey Chavis, former star NFL defensive back and star in the SEC at Vanderbilt. Cassie McKinney joins us field level throughout the broadcast as well. Are you ready for some old school, hard-hitting, great football today and tonight on CBS Sports Network with Army, West Point, Navy, and the Air Force Academy?
Well, all 3 of those schools, Dave, they get it done with a certain fervor and passion when it comes to blocking, tackling, the fundamentals of football, which we love. I know you like to see people hit and get after it, and we're going to have some fun today. Our matchup includes a Tulane team that's also disciplined and hard-hitting.
Home Depot presents the Do Project Smarter, and we're going to get into Ahmad Bradshaw, the star quarterback for Army West Point. He's a senior in the ultimate honor, a captain as well.
A captain for runs like this. He reads off of the defensive tackle, follows behind Jordan Asbury, and he's kind of a downhill runner, Dave. He's big, thick, gotten up over 200 pounds in the last couple of seasons. They even run this, a quarterback counter, where he's actually required to read off of his offensive lineman and used again like a running back on the edge, powerful runner. And when you think about what he's facing today, one of his biggest weaknesses has been the fact that he's put the ball on the ground. Nobody better than this Green Wave defense under Willie Fritz forcing fumbles. They've got 4 this year, and in terms of fumble recoveries, they had 15 a year ago. Boy, does this team get after it.
Ready for football here. Army has won the toss, electing to defer, and Nick Schrage will kick off. To begin our game today, Sherman Beatty and Devin Glenn deep to receive for Tulane. Away we go from New Orleans. Beatty takes a knee. Touchback. Let's go down to Cassie McKinney.
Hey, Dave. Yeah, Jonathan Banks is getting the start again today at quarterback for Tulane. 2 weeks ago, he injured his ribs against Navy. He fell on the ball on the right side. That's his throwing side. I talked to the team doctors today. They say the big concern isn't the amount of hits that he's going to take. It's his follow-through on his throw that could be painful, which could limit his velocity. Also from the shotgun, the snap indicator is his clap, which could also be painful. Something to keep an eye on, guys.
Cassie, thank you. Got hurt against Navy in the second quarter, did not return. Didn't play last week at Oklahoma. First carry, Dontrell Hilliard. Here he goes on the first play from scrimmage for Tulane. Touchdown! 75 yards. What a start for the Green Wave. Hilliard ran for 104 yards last week in Norman against number 2 Oklahoma, and what a start today for Dontrell Hilliard. Marek Glover has the PAT. Corey, what happened?
The guy to look at is Charles Jones II, number 84. Now he comes around. Look at the block he has on James Nautigal. That opens it up. He was a player that before the game I was interested to see how they would use him. And again, you see his block opens it up. It's a pancake block, Dave. We just talked about at the beginning of this game, hard hitting when it comes to blocking, tackling, all of those different aspects. And then Hilliard with the finish.
21st rushing touchdown for Hilliard, and Charles Jones the second, the redshirt junior from here in New Orleans, with a tremendous spring block to get Hilliard going. Untouched, 75 yards. You could not dream up a better start to the game for Tulane's Willie Fritz in his second year leading the Green Wave program. Wow. Zachary Block will kick off here for the Green Wave. Junior from outside Orlando.
And this is a directional kickoff unit. Gonna be to their left. And let's see if Army, they've had a big left return a week ago from this guy, Kel Walker. Will they go left?
Returning. Walker with a burst. And block. The kickoff man helps out. Great return for Army West Point. So back-to-back big plays to begin the game here today. 30-yard return for Kel Walker. This is not 3 yards in a cloud of dust, Corey. Chick-fil-A starting lineup for Army West Point. Ahmad Bradshaw, senior quarterback, team captain from Chicago, 177 rushing yards season opener against Fordham, 147 in week 2 against Buffalo. Both Army wins. He told us this week being a captain at Army West Point has been a dream come true. He wants nothing more than to lead the cadets to the Commander Chiefs Trophy, something they have not done since 1996. Bradshaw keeps, and it's hit right away. That didn't take long, did it? Great play on defense immediately by Quinlan Carroll.
Bryce Holland is going to be an important factor on the second level for Army. Did an excellent job against Khalil Hodge, one of the better linebackers in the MAC against Buffalo a couple of weeks back, and he's a consistent performer.
Darnell Wolfhook, star B-back fullback for Army West Point, is not in the lineup today, did not make the trip. He's out with an injury. Second down and long. Option look, Bradshaw. Stopped by Zachary Harris. Pick up a 5 for Bradshaw.
On the other side of the ball, Luke Jackson has been everywhere for this Tulane defense. They line him up at the defensive lineman spot. Today he's going to play some outside linebacker. He's even lined up at times inside at linebacker. Very versatile player who's come on in his senior campaign.
Big early third down, whistles and flags. Before Kalen Holt, another ex-linebacker for Army, can get the carry.
Ball starts. Offense, number 47. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Anthony Calabrese is our referee today. And it backs up the Cadets 5.
And that's unusual for this team. 3.3 penalties per game. That's 9th in the country. Last year, 17th at 4.8. Since Jeff Monken has gotten there, they've always been one of the least penalized teams in college football.
So no Wolfhook, such a big key to Army success with 4 rushing touchdowns already this year. More whistles, more flags. Delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, third down.
And that's, we just talked about it. This has got to infuriate him. When we talked to him this week, one of the things he said, personally, I want a disciplined football team. Well, they're starting the game off completely opposite of what they normally do. 2 penalties on their first drive. And now we got 3rd and 17, Dave. In these situations, 3rd and 10 plus, they're a 35% pass team, 65% run.
3rd and long. Army has completed 4 passes all year. And with Nickerson on coverage, that ball intended for Jeff Ajeckum is nowhere near the intended receiver. And Army West Point's got a punt.
But that's one of the few times where you can kind of expect you're going to see those passes. Out of the 18, 3rd and 7 plus, anything over that down and distance, that's the most opportunity you'll see from Army to throw the football.
Jacob Robertson deep to receive the punt here from Nick Schrage. Had a huge fake punt and 4th down conversion, the win over Buffalo at Mikey Stadium this year. Special teams a big key today. What a kick. Robertson chased back, lets that one bounce. Going to check up for Army inside the 10. Great punt for Nick Schrage. Junior from Manassas, Virginia, 63-yard boot.
And that's coming off of the Ohio State game. We had a kick that went 68 yards. So
there's a flag down, Corey.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the return team. Holding, number 16. That penalty is declined. Holding, number 36. Offense. Sorry, receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down. Timeout.
Jeff Monken with that new 5-year contract extension. We'll see the defense on the field for the second time against this guy, Dontrell Hilliard, who took it to the house first carry and first snap of the day, 75 yards.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. By Ram Trucks, proven to last. And by Chick-fil-A. Start game day strong with the new Breakfast Hash Brown Scramble Bowl.
For many years, Tulane plays football in the Mercedes Superdome. Now they're on campus, uptown, Yulman Stadium. Time for the Chick-fil-A starting lineup. For the Green Wave, as we talked about, quarterback situation with Cassie earlier. Jonathan Banks, Jr. from Humboldt, Texas. Outside Houston starter. Charles Jones II had a huge block, Corey, early in this game.
Yeah, he really did, and that was one of those things where when you watch him right here, he's going to be lined up in the backfield. You can follow him, and he's a big part of their run game.
Hilliard hit right away. Wunmi Oyatuga got to Dontrell Hilliard. It's a gain of 2. That's a much better defensive effort for Army West Point against Hilliard.
One player that has to have an outstanding game for Army, Cole Christensen. He's a player who's really come on. Coaches describe him as perhaps their best athlete of the linebacking core. And that's saying something with James Nautical, number 19, on the field with him at the same time.
Second down. Hilliard. Nautical got to him and wrestles him down. Hilliard kept the legs churning for a pretty good pickup, setting up 3rd and short here. Also, we need to note that Max Regan is starting at free safety for the injured Ryan England. The coaches call him the smartest player on the team. Out with an injury. 3rd and short. Andrew McLean was able to get to Hilliard. Trying to string the play out. John Voight, good penetration as well from his defensive end spot. No gain there, and Tulane's got a punt. Zachary Block, also the kickoff man, junior from Claremont, Florida. Right outside Orlando will punt. Mike Reynolds replaces the injured John Trainer as a return man. Army's really banged up. Trainer, a key slot back and return man. Lots of movement up front. Hang on here. Let's see if that penalty is against. If it's Army, it might be a first down for Tulane.
And if it's Army, that's their 3rd penalty, which matches their season average.
Can you imagine that? Looked like Justin Thomas Jr. jumping early off the edge, but was he drawn off? Not the discipline Jeff Monken wanted to see early in this game today.
The limited number of possessions you get against Army, this is huge.
Wow.
Offside. Defense, number 39. 5-yard penalty. Result of the play, first down.
Let's see.
Right there, number 9.
Yeah, he meant 9, not 39, and that was Justin Thomas, the freshman from Plantation, Florida. So it gives the Green Wave the ball right back here.
And when you think about Army, in terms of Tulane, they've crossed the football field, the middle of the field, 18 times out of their 36 possessions. Now 19 out of 37 with that first long touchdown.
First down, and Banks is throwing. Robertson has a catch. Bumped out of bounds hard. On the play there by Mike Reynolds. Jacob Robertson, redshirt freshman from just outside Atlanta. His first career catch at Tulane.
And you can see in the injury, Cassie talked about it earlier, how would he respond in terms of being able to throw the football? That looked pretty good to me. I thought he looked good in warm-ups.
Movement, flags again. This time a false start against Tulane.
False start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty, second down.
That's the right tackle, and the vocal leader coaches tell us John LeGlue, a redshirt junior from Alexandria, Louisiana. Penalty-riddled first quarter here.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Tulane bench, half the distance to the goal, second down.
And Willie Fritz, the head coach, is hot under the collar on the Green Wave bench. Wow.
That's a rule that going into the season that the referees were really asked to be able to enforce more. Coaches.
Point of emphasis, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you get another one, depending on who that was on, you can be ejected, the coach, from the game. So it's something that referees are looking out for more and more.
Green Wave backing up here. Play fake, and Banks testing that injured arm. Perfect throw. Lewis has the catch. And a good pickup for the Green Wave, stopped by Max Regan. It's Mooney actually on the catch.
Well, he's going to run a post corner route against Cameron Jones, and he was beaten on a post by Buffalo. It's really a post corner comeback, excellent route. And remember something, when you've got Banks in the game, he threw 20 times against Grambling. He can throw the football.
First down, Banks. Darnell Mooney, back-to-back catches, stopped by Regan. Shy of the 40. But that arm Cassie told us about looks just Navy. He traveled to Norman last week to help out Jonathan Brantley, who started in his place. Wasn't dressed and was cleared early in the week thanks to the great medical staff here at Tulane.
One of our keys to the game was going to be about cornerbacks, and they're going to be put to the test regardless of the run-pass ratio.
On second down, play fake. And Banks, flush right. Scrambles. Nautigal and Alex Ackerman combining the tackle for Army. Gain of 3, turned nothing into something. Pretty good play. 2 weeks ago at Navy, saw this game on CBS Sports Network. Midway through the second, Jonathan Banks took a hard hit, had to leave the game with a ribcage injury. Did not return as he nurses that midsection, heading to the Green Wave locker room in Annapolis. Looks pretty good here today.
Now Beatty's in the game. He may get the ball in this set.
First down, play fake. Pass. And this time it is Lewis with a catch. Jabril Lewis has just his second catch as a Green Wave player. Gain of 16, transfer from San Diego State.
Yeah, but he's drawn a couple of pass interference penalties. He drew 2 pass interference penalties against Grambling in week 1. He also drew a pass interference penalty against Oklahoma. So he's been a factor even though he hasn't had any catches, but 1.
Beatty, a run play. Sheds a tackle. Regan made the play. Brinson had a huge hit on the quarterback Banks, and a penalty's coming here against Kenneth Brinson of Army.
Maybe a targeting foul. We'll see.
It's going to be a 15-yard penalty, either unnecessary roughness or targeting on the Army rush defensive end, the junior from Kennesaw, Georgia, Kenneth Brinson. And Army's already down so many players with injuries. This would be a disastrous loss if it is targeted.
Targeting. Defense, number 56. The previous play is under review.
By rule, it must be reviewed by the video replay official here at Yulman Stadium. And this is a very big call. We're going to take a look. Buddy Ward is the replay official here in New Orleans today. Let's see, Corey.
This is Brinson coming off the edge. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's got to take out the quarterback, and that's a little bit iffy for me, just from that angle, in terms of whether or not there was actually some helmet-to-helmet contact. But again, it could be up around the shoulder or neck area. If he's still leading with the helmet, they can rule that as a targeting foul. And remember, it's already gone to the booth with the call on the field, so that would be tough to overturn. Here's another look at it.
He drops his head, but the contact is near the shoulders. The neck does snap back. Of course, we're trying to protect players' head and neck area. That, in the case of being a defenseless player. Here's the rule, but I believe this will not be targeted.
Well, it was no launch. If you say it's no targeting, he didn't launch. And we already made this.
No foul for targeting on the play. Result of the play, second down.
I think you got that one right, Dave, in terms of how you interpret the rule correctly.
But I do like the officials, Corey, on the field calling targeting if they see the head or neck snap back to protect the player. That's the bottom line. Player safety in the end is important to discourage any hit toward the head or neck.
You're exactly right. But for Brinson, that's his job today. A lot of times he's going to be asked to take out the quarterback because of this option scheme, and he's going to be in that situation again.
So no penalty and no ejection. That's good news for Army. Stephon Hutterson is the featured back here. 10th play of the Green Wave drive, second down. Fake to Hutterson. Robertson extending, can't make the catch. Good coverage from Mike Reynolds. The field corner is taken over for Jalen Sharp. He's out for the year with a torn ACL.
Well, you can see him doing a good job of getting off the press of Mike Reynolds, but watch Reynolds recover. And he gets his back hand in on through Robertson's upfield shoulder to knock the ball away. And it was an excellent job. I thought he had a chance to get an interception against Ohio State. Reynolds has had his moments up and down this season.
3rd and 9. Pressure from Brinson. Robertson the catch. And Gibby Gibson has the top defensively for Army West Point. Some pressure and heat coming right on Banks there. It's a gain of 1. And we'll see what Willie Fritz has in mind here on a short field. What do you think?
Well, they've gone for it 6 times on 4th down. And they've thrown 1 time out of those 6 times that they've gone for it. But they've thrown the ball a lot today. So we'll see if this is another throwing type situation for them. They're trying to get the snap off.
4-6, 4th downs so far this year for the Green Wave. Saw a pooch kick last week. We're going to see it again. This time from Banks and not from Glenn Quiet, who's the holder. Last week's kick at Oklahoma was inside the 5. This one is 2. Down by Darnell Mooney. The pooch punt. 2 straight weeks is working for Tulane, Corey.
Special teams. We talk about it. There it goes.
Waiting since 2001.
Could it be? Bradshaw! Touchdown, Army! At long last, Army gets to sing second.
CBS will cover all 3 Commander-in-Chief's Trophy games. October 7th, first leg kicks off. Air Force travels to Navy in Annapolis on CBS Sports Network. November 4th, these Army Black Knights square off against Air Force in Colorado Springs at Falcon Stadium. It all culminates with the 118th installment of the Army-Navy Classic. December 9th on CBS. Last Army team to win that CIC goes back to 1996. They played Auburn, lost in the Independence Bowl, and of course, got to meet President Clinton. That is the goal of every Army West Point player, to win the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. Ball control early, big factor. Walker the motion man. Trying to play up the middle for a short gain. There's no Woolfolk today. Cassie, how's Army looking without him?
Well, the other guys might need to step up, but Army offensive coordinator Britt Davis told me Darnell Woolfolk is out because of a leg injury, to be specific. It happened during the first play of the game against Ohio State last week. Coach Davis said Darnell is such a tough guy. We'll miss out on the extra depth, but guys, they're not changing their game plan today.
Yeah, Cassidy ran for 74 yards and a touchdown after the injury. So he is a tough guy.
Andy Davidson had 5 100-yard rushing games last year, takes over. Gets his second carry of the drive. And stumbles ahead across the 10 to about the 11-yard line. We saw Davidson in his great debut on CBS Sports Network, Corey, last year at Temple, run for 120+ and a couple scores.
He's a good athlete. He was a lacrosse player in high school. This year he only has 13 carries, but, well, now he has a couple more so far in this game. But I think the thing that you like about Davidson is his dependability. Playing a couple of other positions here. He's a very good athlete. Here's the unbalanced line for Army.
Third down. And a carry for Connor Slonka, a sophomore from Wexford, Pennsylvania. As Cassie talked about, no Wolfhook, so several D-backs are going to see action today.
Well, I was trying to show you the unbalanced line. We got it going a little bit fast downstairs, but what they do is sometimes run away from that, Dave. So they have 3 offensive linemen to one side, and then they'll run away from that on third down. 3rd and 1 and 3. They haven't thrown the ball all season.
Slonka, the first down. Bradshaw fakes the pitch. Bradshaw, first down and then some. A big run for Army. Harris tracks him down. Pickup of 23 cadet yards for the Black Knights.
Well, here's the guy he's going to be reading right here. And we talked about him earlier. That's Luke Jackson. Let's see how he plays it. He kind of plays in between. He makes him really make a decision too early, and then he keeps the football. You have to make decisions on the move like you're in the passing game when you're on the edge. And Bradshaw is one of the best in the country at doing that, and Jackson just found out.
Davidson is the B-back behind Bradshaw. And gets the carry. And stumbles ahead. Quinlan Carroll, a senior from right here in the state of Louisiana, makes the stop. Carroll was ejected in that Navy game for a targeting play against Zach Davey, the great quarterback in the midshipman. Here he's facing Ahmad Bradshaw, who began the day 10th in the FBS in rushing among all players. 124-plus rushing yards a game for the senior from Chicago.
They're going to run it again. 8% pass on this down. They're going to run it.
I like the numbers, like the analytics. Davidson likes the numbers too. He's got a first down for Army all the way out to midfield. Stopped there by Luke Jackson, the Will linebacker for Tulane, gain of 9. Zach Abey, 171.5 rushing yards a game. We'll see Zach and the Mids head-to-head with Cincinnati, their first ever American Conference matchup next on CBS Sports Network. Those programs haven't met since the 1950s. It's a really good game coming your way next. Davidson stays busy. Harris, Jackson combine on the tackle for Tulane all the way to the 44. Gain of 6.
They're running behind Bryce Holland. He's the guy that we spotlighted at the beginning of the game, their offensive center. You know, he's one of those players that, even though he snaps the football, sometimes he gets in a 4-point stance. Here you got to look at him. On this play right here, he's not getting into it. Well, there he goes. 4-point stance for a center snapping the ball.
I love it. Slonka the carry. Struggles ahead. He's about a yard shy of the first down. Tomorrow morning, 8 Eastern, our top screw signing off as our panel gets you up to speed on everything from the field of fantasy. Don't miss that other pregame show presented by Kubota on CBS Sports Network. Kalen Holt, another former linebacker. 230-pound B-back is in. Slonka is out on 3rd and short, but almost sure to be 4-down territory for Jeff Monken. Gonna be Holt. Pounds through traffic, first down to the 39. Stopped by Chase Kirshen, a true freshman from Knoxville, Tennessee. Ground attack, so impressive. Only second to Georgia Tech nationally. 364.7 rushing yards a game. And this is the 10th play of the drive. Davidson's back in. Bradshaw passing. Second time today. And brought in. Jermaine Adams has the catch. Perry Nickerson slams him down at about the 31. And there's a flag down. Be the first catch of the year for Adams if it stands for Army.
Holding. Defense, number 36. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's Chase Kirshen, the freshman we told you about. Really has played well. Strong safety behind Roderick Teamer for Tulane.
This is off of their triple option fake. It's a good block inside by Davidson. And look at him stand in the pocket. Not necessarily the tightest spiral, but Adams, who's shown better speed on the outside than I first anticipated, with a good catch.
On that first down, Davidson turns through traffic. Road grader type run, picks up 3 for Army. So if you're scheming the B-back defensively, Corey, what are your keys?
Well, the number one thing that you're going to key is alignment, and that oftentimes comes where is he, how close is he to the quarterback? And then the other thing is the rest of the formation gives you a pretty good indicator as to maybe what you're going to see from Army.
Army likes to run
That's
down
the end of the first quarter.
to the end of the field. The first quarter complete. Great day of football on CBS Sports Network, presented by the Home Depot.
There's no bigger honor than playing at West Point. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life, representing our country every Saturday on the field, and then after graduation, serving in the Army, and soldiers coming up to me and talking about how they watched my teams play on TV. No greater feeling than that. A humbling experience, honestly, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Thank you, Jeremy, and welcome back, everyone, to Armed Services Saturday on CBS Sports Network. Jeremy Tribble, #1 all-time Army history, 176 catches, 15 touchdowns, more than 2,300 receiving yards, tops in Army history. Whistles, flag, starting the second false start.
5. Penalty. Second down.
Very uncommon for this team, and you talked about analytics and stuff earlier, but you just look at their plays. Not hard to put the analytics together for these teams when it comes to run-pass ratio. And now they're in a second and long, Dave, and hasn't been a big passing down for them, but it's something to consider.
Lots of penalties, 8 combined in the game today. On second down, Davidson. Rajon Marbley, middle linebacker, top tackler for Tulane on the stop on Andy Davidson, who suddenly, and you talked about it on the phone this week with Brent Davis, Army's offensive coordinator. Now Davidson becomes a key guy with Will Folk out.
He really does. Now on this down, though, 3rd down and 9, here we go again. We've seen it a little bit earlier in the game. They're 35% pass on this down and distance, and they bring in Kalen Holt at the B-back position. So we'll see kind of what direction they go.
Pitch play. Jordan Asbury looks for the edge. Doesn't have it. Roderick Teamer from a strong safety spot bolts up and makes a great open field tackle. We saw him explode in that Navy game a couple of times into the backfield for tackles for loss. Junior from here in New Orleans.
He scored in that game as well. So, I mean, with the fumble recovery.
Army's going to try a very long field goal here.
He missed a 43-yard field goal last week from the right hash, pushed it left against Ohio State.
Lake Wilson has got this one. And the Knights of the Hudson have their first points. 46-yard field goal for Wilson, the senior from Boca Raton, Florida. Has his second made field goal of the year. Please help those affected by disasters. Visit redcross.org for more information. Armed Service Saturday continues on CBS Sports Network. Army, Tulane. The Navy takes on Cincinnati, and San Diego State Air Force to wrap up the tripleheader.
Nick Schrage, we've talked about the fact that he's a directional kicker. He's probably going to go over in this direction from here over. Now, will Tulane return on that side with Beatty, or will they try to bring it back to the field? That's the question.
Sherman Beatty, Corey, from the 6. Cut down. Nautical at the 22 on special teams.
Good play because he, in fact, did try to bring it back on a left return. A lot of times when you have those directional kickoffs, there will be a double team to the side of the direction of the kickoff. And the returner, it's an easier return. When you bring it back to the field, a lot harder for the tackles and the wings and the guards to make their blocks.
Banks on the offense back on the field. Each program coming off of tough road games against top 10 teams. Army lost at Ohio State, Tulane at Oklahoma. But a lot of bright spots in those big stadiums last week for these teams. Hilliard, big run. Dontrell Hilliard. Regan cuts him down near midfield. With help from Jones, that's a gain of 30 for Tulane.
And I was a little bit surprised that they didn't talk about Hilliard's performance last week against Oklahoma. Now he's going to follow behind Ardoin. Ardoin takes out 2 players, number 89, and that is what opens it up. But down the field, Robertson with an excellent block.
113 rushing yards already for Hilliard and a TD. On first down.
And Khalil McClain
has come in, the backup quarterback, to replace Jonathan Banks here. And Banks is right back in after the quick one-play sit-down.
Well, you said it yesterday. You thought he might play. I think Cassie said it too. Everybody thought that maybe he would see some time after the way he played against Oklahoma late in that game. He did lose a fumble, but he played pretty well.
Banks not available. Brentley had cramps, so McClain came in. On second down, Banks back in and throwing. Darnell Mooney reaching back at the 32. Can't make the catch with Jones on coverage.
And you wonder about the throws to that side, depending on from the injury. Does it hurt more throwing to one side or the other? So that's something that kind of, you can see. I was down in the warm-ups. You can see he's wearing that protective device inside, and you can see why not? You want to protect him as much as possible. And this is another passing formation and a passing down for them.
Here comes some pressure. Brinson provides the heat. Banks gets away, but not from Alex Ackerman near midfield. One of the top Army tacklers, loss of 2.
You see Brinson come off the edge, and he does a really good job of beating Charles Jones II. And then you don't have Christensen break down, but on the other side, Ackerman says, I'm here. I'm going to have my contained responsibility. Good team defense by the Knights.
Block, back on a punt for Tulane. Mike Reynolds to receive. Low kick. Good green wave bounce. Devin Glenn down there, lunging, but the ball breaks the plane, and once that happens, it is a touchback. Good effort for Tulane on special teams, but they cannot pin the Cadets inside the 1. Glenn, look at this effort. Not quite. Touchback. Friday night, 8 Eastern, we've got an in-state rivalry. BYU travels to take on the Aggies of Utah State in Logan. It's presented by Geico. More games, more moments, more college football right here on CBS Sports Network. Great rivalry game. BYU at 1-3 this year with losses to LSU, Utah, and Wisconsin. And they play that one for the old wagon wheel. The series trophy with Utah State, and BYU is the Beehive Boot, currently held by the Utes. I love the college football pageantry and traditions.
You've been trying to give me the boot
games
for a while.
Come on.
The boot.
Never, Corey, never.
It's a pretty good trophy, man.
Holt feature back. Gets the pitch from Rob Bradshaw. Looks for the edge. Aggressive pursuit. Johnson was the first to get there. Patrick Johnson. And Lawrence Graham.
And you know, you asked me something earlier, Dave, about where the B-back lines up. I said look at the rest of the formation when you had to slide away from it. What the receivers weren't split. And so then if you do get the option, a lot of times it's going to go away from the slot. And so the B-back actually gets the pitch.
We had a chalk talk yesterday, you and I. I like that breakdown.
And you were breaking it down.
Trying to keep up with you. Here's second down. Davidson the carry, and he's sent backwards. Roderick Teamer on top of the pile. Wilson was there, along with Patrick Johnson. John Wilson is a load down there at 305 pounds, senior from Port Sulphur, Louisiana.
I thought he did a really good job playing inside over the center against Navy. I think he was one of the big reasons why they contained that Navy rushing attack in the second half. Wilson's had a pretty good season, and the coaches talked about him yesterday.
He told us he might be the MVP of the defense. Third down, big play. Bradshaw drops back to pass. Feels some pressure and overthrows Kel Walker, incomplete. Coverage there from Jared Franklin, step for step with Walker.
Well, I know people at home are wondering, what are they throwing the football, Army? But again, we talked about third down. That for the first time all year on that down and distance on third down, that was their first throw. So they're breaking tendencies because they know after 3 games, Tulane has a beat on your tendencies, and they're breaking them.
Jeff Monken's team, second 3 and out today, only the 5th time this year it's happened to the Black Knights. Hard to believe. Robertson back deep to receive the punt. Nick Schrade. And overhead kick for Army. Takes a Tulane bounce. The Green Wave takes over when we return to New Orleans. 7-3. Tulane of the American Conference leading Army West Point. Year 2, the rebuild for Willie, Fritz, and Tulane. They were 4-8 last year with 1 win in league play over UConn in the American Conference. Jonathan Banks, transfer from K-State, trying to get it going for Tulane today, and he's made it a few times, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has, and I think that's the thing we're going to monitor. We've already seen McClain come in the game. Here's another shot from Ackerman on the other side, and you can see the rib protector around. He's thrown the ball extremely well, but he has been hit, and I think keeping him upright is of utmost importance to this football team.
Started against Grambling State, a win here in the opener, and at Navy before leaving with the injury. On first down, Banks throwing. Ancalad the catch. Taron Ancalad. Gibson comes up and lays a lick on Ancalad after a big pickup that gets into Army territory. First down, getting 17.
Well, this is the same route that he threw to Ancalad against Grambling State that went for a touchdown. And it was very similar with the spin move right there on Christensen. He falls down. It's a simple speed out, and Mike Reynolds misses another tackle. He struggled to make tackles a week ago.
Cluis, the motion man, gets the pitch. Gibson comes up and makes a great play. James Gibby Gibson tracked it, read it, and finished it. Where's the Chavis? Oh, ooh. Fundamental tackle, Corey. Bradwell featured back here with Banks. Mesh play. Gibson the pressure, and Banks throws that away. Charles Jones II was in the vicinity, but they are heating up the Tulane quarterback, Jonathan Banks. There is a flag down.
There's no foul on the field for illegal men downfield.
Really surprised by the stoppages in play in terms of penalties, and that's something that I think will concern both teams at halftime, something that they will address. But it's third down, and we're going to get back to what we talked about, 40% passing on this down. I mean, who are you going to go to? Ancalad seems like a good option.
Potterson, Bradwell, flank the quarterback Banks. Big play. Heat, Brinson, ball's down, and recovered by Tulane. Kenneth Brinson off the edge. Knocked the ball loose. Recovered by Dominique Briggs, the right guard for the Green Wave.
Well, he beats John LeGlue off the right side. You can see how he bends the corner. That was an excellent pass rush by Kenneth Brinson, who's had a very active first half. And LeGlue He wanted to get he did what a lot of offensive linemen call a quick set, where he tries to get his hands on the outside linebacker early, and he used good hand placement to beat it. Good job by Brinson.
Reynolds received the block punt. Not blocked punt. Blocked punt.
That's a play on words.
Here's Reynolds. Dropped at about the 21. How about some music, Corey? Taking us to break. Take me to New Orleans, Bourbon Street. About a 15-minute drive, but today we're not talking about all that. We're talking about football, right, Corey?
It's the hottest city.
The Bears and their vaunted defense won Super Bowl 20, January of '86, in the Superdome downtown here in New Orleans. Knocked off the Patriots in a dominating fashion. 11 years later, Super Bowl 31, Brett Favre and the Packers hoisted the Lombardi Trophy in the Big Easy, knocking off the Patriots. And our A statistician, Dr. Rick Weiner, who is an alum of Tulane, has some special things to show us here today. The Tulane 1974 press guide and Super Bowl IV World Championship game autograph media guide programs here. Tulane Stadium.
There's some big-time autographs on here, Dave.
I can't wait to look at that.
Taylor is on there.
Davidson, the
Mike Garrett on there. Some of the names, Jan Stenerud. Come on.
Old Tulane Stadium hosted 3 Super Bowls. And that was just very close to where we are here on the Tulane campus. Yulman Stadium opened since 2014 here at Tulane. Great to have Doc with us, bringing some history into the broadcast. You know I love football history. Second down for Army. Bradshaw. Eldrick Washington had the pursuit. Rajon Marbley polishes him off. With some help as well from the freshman Cam Sample. Physical play, Corey.
Very physical play, and I think Bradshaw's done a good job of reading most of the afternoon. This time it was just a broken tackle. I mean, and sometimes he just says, you know what, even though I'm supposed to pitch, I'm going to discard my pitch key, and I'm just going to turn into a running back because he's strong enough in the lower body to get those extra yards.
First down for Army. Holt the carry. And shy of the line of scrimmage. Lost about half a yard there. Cam Sample, only 18 years old, involved in the play. And Brandon Edwards, down to 330 pounds. He was up in the 370s, coaches told us yesterday, but done a great job losing weight, much faster on his feet, earning more snaps.
He's played well this year. I think they're very pleased with him and Sean Wilson, the rotation.
Second down, pitch play. Kel Walker looks for the edge, has it. Harry Nickerson took the brunt of the stiff arm there from Kel Walker. That's a gain of 11 for Army.
And normally when he gets in the game, you got to alert toss. And so that's whether he's at the B-back position or when he's one of the slot backs. So you see him coming speed motion, and now you got 2 blockers out in front. Brett Toth with an excellent block along with Jordan Asbury. And these are excellent space blockers. They kind of let the defenders engulf themselves. And with Walker's speed, it can result in a big play.
Davidson, fullback dive. Rajon Marbley, first contact head-to-head with Andy Davidson, and that's not fun to take him on. Davidson's 235 pounds and a very powerful north-south runner, gain of 8. Davidson stays busy. A game we called last year as the chains move. Andy from Allentown, Pennsylvania, had grown up watching Eagles games at Lincoln Financial Field and lit up Temple last year in the season opener. Carries again, Davidson in the clear. Andy Davidson tracked down by Nickerson. Touchdown! shaken up after the 42-yard scoring run.
Excellent blocking up front in terms of being able to exchange responsibility. They had a little bit of a foul block. They're going to maybe take another look at it, but it looks like he got it across to me. Let's see if thing comes down here, Dave, before he gets across. I don't think so.
Great first look from our crew showed pretty clearly he was in. Well, there's that hip. The ball's over the.
The previous play is under review.
We're going to take another look at it, but the ball broke the plane, I think, before that hip comes down. The point of contact with the ground. Oh, that look. It's a bit closer.
It was ruled a touchdown on the field, though, so it's going to be conclusive that he didn't get in. And
being looked at by trainers, too, after that long run.
From that angle,
I don't know. That angle doesn't look like he's there.
At all. I mean, you can see that was an excellent job by our crew showing this angle.
It's very close.
Because right here you can see that he hasn't yet crossed and he's down right at that point, and the ball is not yet crossed. So it could get overturned. The longer they talk about it, we kind of know what that ratio means. Excellent effort by Nickerson.
After review, the runner was down by contact. The ball will be placed on the half-yard line. The clock will start on my ready. First and goal.
So no touchdown for Davidson despite the tremendous effort. And you're right. Aaron Nickerson in pursuit along with Jared Franklin, able to track him down. That extra effort saved the touchdown for now for Tulane.
They could, and maybe we'll see Kalen Holt come into the game because Davidson got shaken up a little bit on that play. I would expect them to test the interior of this Tulane front once again. A good job again by Bryce Holland on the last play, blocking up Sean Wilson.
Mark, call Tony.
Connor Slonka.
And here's that
featured
unbalanced.
B-back this time. Unbalanced line. Bradshaw keeps. Waiting for an indication. Touchdown, Army.
The ruling on the field is touchdown.
Fourth rushing touchdown of the year for Ahmad Bradshaw. Senior captain from Army. 7 times in his great career has passed 100 rushing yards. A tremendous operator of the triple option offense for the Black Knights. Here's Blake Wilson, senior from Florida. He'll try the PAT. He's got it. And after falling behind in the first play from scrimmage, Army scored 10 straight points. It's Bradshaw leading the way, Corey.
Bradshaw.
Armed Services Saturday rolling on CBS Sports Network. Navy Cincinnati American Conference matchup still to fall. On the Mountain West at San Diego State with Rashad Penny, their great running back, head-to-head with Air Force. Dontrell Hilliard has run wild, especially first play of the game, Corey. 6 carries, 113 yards today.
Well, you can see his down-the-field speed outrunning Mike Reynolds to the end zone after an excellent block by Charles Jones II. Here, he's followed behind Jacob Robertson outside. So he's gotten to the edge, and he's been a player that really over the last 2 weeks has really found his groove.
For 2,100 career rushing yards for Dontrell Hilliard. They're going to need him to step up. The offense sputtered a bit for Tulane after that early score. Trey to kick off. Beatty and Glenn deep to receive. Beatty from the 14. Runs into a wall of white jerseys shy of the 25. Down to Cassie.
Yeah, Dave, these two coaching staffs have a lot of history together. We'll take a break. We have a player down, guys.
Injured player, Cassie, so hold that thought.
It looks like that's Patrick Johnson.
Yeah, true freshman from Chattanooga, Tennessee, who's really been a valuable defensive end and player on special teams for Willie Fritz of the Green Wave. 3 tackles on the season heading into week 4.
And he's the fullback on the kickoff return unit. So a very important role in terms of what he plays and blocking for Beatty. This is where he's at, right? Kind of locked up, and he gets rolled over by a teammate. It looked like that might have been Devin Glenn who accidentally ran into him. Those are the injuries that you never can account for as a player. You're trying to play full speed, and then a teammate runs into you unexpectedly, and those are just unfortunate line of fire plays.
Johnson sitting up, that's good news. Jeff Monken preceded Willie Fritz as head coach at Georgia Southern. Each had a lot of success there. Jeff Monken took over the program at West Point. Willie Fritz, 2 years. League championship bowl game for Georgia Southern, their first at the FBS level before taking the Tulane job. So there's a lot of familiarity between the two staffs today. And that's what we'll get more from with Cassie in a moment. Cassie, go ahead.
Yeah, guys, as you were saying, Tulane OC Doug Roos and Army linebacker coach Kevin Corliss coached together for 19 years at 4 different schools. And what's interesting about these two coaching staffs knowing each other so well is they changed the way they called the game today. Offensive coordinator Doug Roos said, our verbiage and signal calling we use goes back 15, 20 years. So that's a big concern. He said it's kept him up at night this week. So now they've tweaked the communication system. So Tulane has huddled more than usual to cut down on verbiage at the line of scrimmage, guys.
And Cassie, to add on to your point, it was excellent because we've even seen him change up sometimes when he's calling for the snap, when he's clapping for the snap, based on what you're saying. And also, we've also throughout the game seen tendency breakers from both teams, sometimes passing on downs a little bit more than they normally would. So very valid point, and one that both teams have executed so far today.
Johnson helped off. Mooney, the motion man. Dontrell Hilliard, the carry. Nautigal spins him down after a gain of 4 on a run for Dontrell Hilliard, senior from Baton Rouge. 104 rushing yards at Oklahoma last week. So interesting that each team played a powerhouse school on the road last week. Yeah, there were losses. There were some moral victories, but each coach told us this week, we went there to win. Doesn't matter who we're playing. Beatty to carry. Big pickup. Sherman Beatty running loose. Regan can't find him. Notre Army's going to find him. Sherman Beatty. Touchdown, Tulane. .72 yards. And the Green Wave has its second long rushing touchdown of the game. Marek Glover is in for the PAT. He's got it. And Tulane has a 14-10 lead. Hilliard from 75. Beatty, Corey from 72.
Well, the first game we ever saw Beatty, he ran for what, almost 200 yards?
215.
You announced that game.
Against Tulsa.
You remember.
2014. Block to kick off. Kel Walker lets that go through for a touchback.
We see up at the top of the screen, you have John LeGlue right here, and then you have Charles Jones II. So as we let it run, that clap that we see it again is somewhat of a split zone play. You see that they get their blocks initiated pretty early, and then it becomes an angle by Max Regan that Beatty's able to outpace. And essentially, if you can get him into the open field, remember, he's their starting kickoff returner. He has home run speed.
Army gave up 172 rushing yards, 2 scores to J.K. Dobbins last week for Ohio State. 4 big plays today. Slonka carries. Flag is down. Roderick Teamer makes the play on defense for Tulane. Gain of 4 if it stands.
After the play, illegal hands to the face. Defense, number 6, 15 yards from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Tack on against Willie Fritz and the Green Wave. Jared Franklin, redshirt senior from Baton Rouge, who's had a fantastic 2017 so far for Tulane. The nickelback guilty party.
Yeah, defensive coordinator Jack Curtis really enjoys what he's able to do on a football field because he can essentially cover your slot receiver. And in this game, you can line him up sometimes at the safety position to get in the run game.
First down, Walker the carry. There's on Marbley, Wilson, Ulrich Washington providing the hit there for Tulane. It's gain of 3 after the penalty against Jared Franklin. Walker ran for 94 yards in that incredible victory for Army West Point against Navy last year, breaking that long 15-year run of misery against the Mids. First win against the midshipmen since 2001 for Army last year. Holt, feature back here. On second down. Kalen Holt runs into trouble. Pickup of about 2. Stout defensive front. Tulane and Harris from his linebacker spot gets involved. This is old school football, Corey. This game is won in the trenches today.
It is one in the trenches, but there are a number of subtle things that both offensive coordinators are doing, including Brent Davis. And like this, for example, look at the wide splits that you see between the guards and the tackles to the unbalanced side.
On third down, option look, Asbury the carry. First down and then some. Finally stopped in traffic by Jared Franklin, but not before Jordan Asbury heads upfield north-south, picks up 10 yards for Army. Big conversion.
And those are the wide splits again, and you can see him with a pretty good read that time off of Marbley.
Davidson up the middle, runs into trouble. Roderick Teamer. Physical play head-to-head with Andy Davidson. That was a collision, gain of 1.
Well, you wanted me to get excited earlier. I didn't think that hit earlier was worth the excitement.
Didn't quite warrant the Chavis.
Right. No, but that's a little hot rod for me right there. But Roderick Teamer, he can get on my team with that type of hit.
Oh, man.
And I get excited when I see those types of collisions.
Second down. Option look. Asbury. The carry. Teamer cuts him down. It's a good play toward the boundary, but the pickup is to about the 34. Gain of 6. Timeout. Timeout in the field here in New Orleans. 14-10 game. Tulane in front. Coming up on the halftime report, powered by Ram Trucks. Big week 4. It's moving day, Corey. Contender, pretender, day and night.
Moving day, but you've been moving. You danced a little bit earlier today. Hey, and the music is on for you again right now.
I love the dance. Adam Zucker, Rick Newguys, old Brian Jones standing by. New York studio, have you cover all the day's highlights and get you prepped for the rest of the action on this busy college football Saturday. Armed Services Saturday on CBS Sports Network. Navy, Cincinnati. San Diego State undefeated with 2 huge wins already over Arizona State and Stanford, taking on Air Force later tonight.
And they're expecting an inside run. So they got the big guy in the game, Brandon Edwards, 330 pounds, expecting the inside run.
Unbalanced formation. Rajon Martley hit on Davidson, who's shy of the marker by about half a yard. It's a gain of 2. Timeout call by Army.
Because you know they're going to go for it in this situation. Be shocked if we don't see them go for it on 4th down. Very successful on that down this year.
So Jeff Monken talks things over, and a key 4th down and 1 coming up. Army's 6 of 8 this year. 4th down tries to date. Let's take a look at today's Principal Financial Inside Tracks. 4th down numbers, neither team shy about that. Willie Fritz did that at Navy a couple weeks ago. Had a lot of success. Holt featured be back here off the timeout. Big play. Less than a minute left, first half. Bradshaw hit and sent backwards and short. Big play for Quinlan Carroll. Shuts down Army. Loss of 1, Tulane ball.
Well, they run the lead option behind Kalen Holt, and he just runs right through the block inside of number 84, Jermaine Adams, who they cracked down the split of. So when you crack down the split, I asked him in the meetings the other day, what would you cut your receiver splits now? Well, they do it on that play, and guess what happens? You have Carroll run through the block of a receiver to make the play on 4th down. Huge, huge stop.
What a stop for Tulane's defense and Quinlan Carroll. Here comes Tulane now, 53 seconds. Full complement of timeouts. Alex Ackerman puts a stop to Hilliard immediately.
As much as you've thrown the ball in the first half, I'm a little surprised at this point you would run the football with a little bit of time left with 3 timeouts. I would think they would be more aggressive in this situation. And on this down, 2nd and long, they haven't been a big passing team.
Tulane in no hurry here. Option look. Pitch play. Dontrell Hilliard has the edge. Good play by Cole Christensen, the weak side linebacker for Army West Point. Tripped him up. It is a gain of 7.
They decide not to use the timeout, even though with the positive game, and they're just going to be satisfied with going into the half.
30 minutes complete. Armed Services Saturday underway on CBS Sports Network. Tulane 14 and Army 10. Halftime report is coming up on CBS Sports Network. You're watching Armed Services Saturday on CBS Sports Network, presented by the Home Depot. Welcome back, everyone, to Armed Services Saturday on CBS Sports Network. First meeting between the Black Knights and Green Waves since the 2015 Classic at Michie Stadium. Won by Tulane on a last-second field goal by Andrew Duraco. Dave and Corey and Cassie on the field joins us as well in a moment. We expected hard-hitting, in the trenches football. Corey, we're getting that so far today.
We have, and I think it's going from the special teams units all the way down to the offenses and defenses, and it's been very good and been exciting football to watch.
Let's look at our Stouffer's Fit Kitchen Bowls. First half stats, check the numbers out. Corey, what stands out to you here?
Well, I think the big thing is the yards per play. You look at how many yards per play Army's given up. We'll get into that in a minute when we get to these second half adjustments, but here's why the yards per play is so perplexing. They've given up the big play again. Now, this happened against Buffalo. It also happened against Ohio State, kind of broke that game open. And Sherman Beatty, he made a statement in the first half along with Dontrell Hilliard. And we talked about limiting the yardage on first down for Army's defense. And that's just simply not giving up the big plays. They've got to tackle better in the open field. Third down efficiency on defense for this Green Wave offense. They've got to do a better job staying on the field so Army doesn't hold the ball.
Kel Walker on the return for Army. Kickoff from block, and Walker is dropped shy of the 20. Back down to Cassie McKinney.
Yeah, hey Dave, just caught up with both head coaches. Jeff Monken a little bit frustrated now, mostly with his defense. He said we are giving up way too many big plays. He said if we can't block, we have no business winning this game. And those two plays, those both 2 one-play drives are killing us. Tulane's coach Fritz said, we knew it was going to be a dogfight. Every position is important. We just have to continue to stay away from turnovers. He said we have somewhat of a passing game going on. Now we just have to take advantage of it.
Well, Cass, he was on the same page of what I was thinking. You've got to tackle in the open field and prevent the angles that this Tulane Green Wave rushing attack has established. And offensively, I think Davidson has to continue to be a factor.
Starts here at the B-back. Option look. Asbury looks for the edge. Good perimeter blocking. And Zachary Harris catches up with that play and tracks down Jordan Asbury. Another nice tackle for Tulane.
A lot of times you'll get in the position if you're Jordan Asbury where you've got to be able to beat the final man. So you got really Teamer in good position. He plays off the block of Walker and cuts it back inside. So it's not always has to be blocked perfectly. And here we go with the unbalanced again. Where do they run the ball?
Second down. Davidson had 94 rushing yards in the first half. Rajon Marbley is the first to get to him. And pushes the pile backwards for Tulane. No Darnell Woolfolk for Army West Point. Lower leg injury, as Cassie reported. After she talked with Army coaches field level pregame. Hurt first series against Ohio State. Still had a great game against the Buckeyes last week. So Davidson's taking over. Holt is the current B-back. Second half, good numbers for Army. Trailing here today, Kalen Holt. Drives forward and does have a first down for the Black Knights. Junior from Eva Beach, Hawaii. Kalen Holt, former linebacker at Army.
And I always
this week with a high ceiling he's got. Corey, sorry about that.
Excuse me, I was just saying, I always think about, you were talking about his success. I always think about Bryce Holland in the middle and how much of a factor he is on those dives.
All starts in the trenches. Kalen Holt stumbles ahead. Good pickup again for Army West Point. Now to about the 36-yard line. 7 more yards for Army. Holt played a lot against Ohio State last week. Woolfolk out indefinitely for Army. That is a key loss. 4 rushing touchdowns for Darnell, leading the Army team heading into this game today. Davidson the carry. Bumped off the play. Wilson down low, made a really nice push. And now we know why the coaches told us yesterday, Corey, that Sean Wilson might be the MVP of the defense.
Yeah, it was a really good battle that time between him and Bryce Holland. And you said it best, Dave. He got underneath Holland. And a lot of times when you get underneath that block, you're not going to be able to get off and make the tackle. He did. And Wilson, I think he does a good job of fighting cut blocks well. That wasn't a cut block, but on the fullback dives, he can do that as well. Pretty versatile interior lineman. And here's that matchup again right here between Holland and Wilson.
Third down. Slonka has the first.
And you saw who won that matchup. That was a situation where Holland beats Wilson, and then you get the first down. A lot of these dives come down to an interior line matchup when you play what I call a 30 front, and that means you've got 3 down linemen and 2 outside linebackers. So the guy lined up directly over the center is Sean Wilson. So it's a one-on-one battle with him and Bryce Holland.
Connor Slonka has carried 3 times, Corey, in this game. He had 3 total carries on the season heading in to this matchup with Tulane. Injuries changing their fullback depth. Option look. Bradshaw breaks a tackle. Come on, Bradshaw. Huge pickup for Army. Down to the 36. Finally tracked down by Donnie Lewis. 21-yard pickup for Bradshaw.
We can go back to our matchup. It's a good read spot. Look at Holland. Holland gets 2 blocks on that play. That was probably the play of the game so far for me. He takes out Wilson in the combination block. Then he gets up to the second level and blocks number 40, Zachary Harris. That's what really enabled him to get 21 yards. Holland is having a spectacular game.
Bradshaw pitches at the last moment. Cooper has his first touch of the day. Rajon Marbley, really nice pursuit defensively for Tulane against Fred Cooper Jr. Got a touchdown run against Fordham. Now the SES in the season opener for Army.
You got to make a decision on the edge, and it's off Jackson. We saw it earlier in the game. He kept the ball. That time, Jackson forced him. Right now, here's your pitch key. You've got to pitch the football. Excellent decision by Bradshaw. Again, that's like a passer getting back and reading the defense. He has to do it at the line of scrimmage. A good pitch.
Second down. Davidson, already over 100 yards, adds to his total. Cam Sample, bottom of the pile, true freshman from Snellville, Georgia. On the stop for Tulane. So Davidson had 5 100-yard rushing games last year. His first of this season comes today.
And Holland is leaving the game, the center. He's walking out of the game. And number 73, Jackson Deaton, is going to come into the game. And let's see who plays center. We've talked about Holland all afternoon. He's going to the sidelines. And Cassie probably will take a look and see what happened. But he looks like he's in some pain.
That is a potential key loss for Army. 295-pound senior center from Chandler, Arizona. Another injured player. Rajon Marbley is shaken up there for Tulane. Very physical game here today. So Joshua Boylan, who was the left guard,
now
is going to take the center position.
And that's interesting you bring that up, Dave. Now, he had 2 starts at left guard a year ago. He backed up at center in 2016. So he had never snapped the ball before, but he has experience at center. That's something the coaches talked about a year ago. And we're going to kind of see inside. There's where you have the potential injury. And, again, it's a friendly fire injury. One of those situations where Boylan is getting a block, and he blocks his man into the back half of Holland.
Revamped Army offensive line.
But we still are going to have the unbalanced look, it looks like, right away to their left side.
10th play of the drive. Asbury in motion. Bradshaw. Jackson, bottom of the pile, makes a stop. Had such a great year for Tulane defensively, overcoming lots of injury issues. Bradshaw got close, but not the first down. Picked up 2, and another 4th down challenge here for Jeff Monken and Army.
Well, this is where you've got to bow up, and now we're going to see on the Tulane side, Brandon Edwards is at that all-important position going against Boylan at that center position.
Another big play. Bradshaw looks for the edge, not going to find it. Perry Nickerson got there first and makes a play for Tulane. But it's a loss of 1. Green Wave gets it back.
And Brandon Edwards, we just spotlighted him before the play against Joshua Boylan. He made that ball bounce.
Time now for today's Michelin Defender of the game, Corey.
Well, we're bringing in a substitute. Brandon Edwards is going to go one-on-one right here against Joshua Boylan. And let's watch what happens as they run this play. You see how they move at the snap. Excellent adjustment by Jack Curtis. That forces Bradshaw to go wide. Now Perry Nickerson can make the tackle. The defense is in accord with one another. They move at the snap. And that changes the angles for the Army offensive linemen. Edwards starts it. You saw it kind of go in concert down the line. Those small adjustments inside, when we talk about defending the run, moving before the snap, ends up stopping a key 4th down.
Tulane takes over. Second time they stopped Army on a 4th down attempt. Dontrell Hilliard looks for room right. Stacked up.
And let's get back to that for a second. I mean, as we move to this 2nd down, I mean, they came into the game 75% on 4th down and had converted a couple in this game. Now for Tulane, this 2nd and long, it's not really been a big passing down for them, about 18% during the season.
Second and long, it's Hilliard. Breaks 1 tackle. Washley helps make the play Defense there for Army West Point, along with co-captain John Voigt, senior from Wildwood, Missouri, outside St. Louis. Gain of 2. Voigt and Bradshaw in the preseason unanimously voted team captains at an academy full of leaders, about to be second lieutenants upon graduation in the United States Army. I can't imagine a higher honor than being elected team captain at Army West Point.
No way.
3rd down. Tip ball intended for Oncolot. Gibby Gibson got a hand on it.
And Gibson is basically like a starter for this football team. He started against Buffalo at this outside linebacker. Watch him get his hands up like you mentioned. It was an excellent play. You know, they played him sometimes. They said they even played him at cornerback half of the spring game. Think about that. He's 220 pounds, and he played corner.
Versatile, athletic.
Man, I like those kind of players, and he's done an excellent job today.
First 3 and out of the day for Tulane. Block. Little punt here to Reynolds. Fields it on the run and out of bounds inside the 25. 43-yard punt for Zach Block. Army West Point back on offense, hoping to take a lead today against Tulane. It's hot here in New Orleans, 88 degrees. Armed Services Saturday on CBS Sports Network. Tulane a 14-10 lead on Army. Check our Geico difference makers. Andy Davidson, first 100-yard rushing game, Corey of the season.
It's his first 100-yard rushing game, but here it's where he can really be a Geico difference maker right now. Because when you look at what Dontrell Hilliard has done on the other side, most of that has been the big runs, the 2 big runs. I mean, all the other rushes for Tulane, they're averaging 3.1 yards a carry. It's been, other than Davis's big run, more of an attrition against his defense. Now, he's not in the game right now. Kel Walker is, and he's kind of a guy to take a look at wherever he's aligned at when he's in the game.
Kel Walker the carry. Big pickup for Army. Kel Walker runs loose. First down and then some. Lawrence Graham finally tracked him down, gain of 35.
Well, look at the block by Kalen Holt. One-on-one with Rajon Marbley. He gets it open. And when you get this type of speed in the open field, Ohio State found out last week, I don't care where he goes to school at, he can run. And he's got it in his left hand, and he gets into that stride, and you better get on your horse to get him down.
Coaches call him a fearless runner. No space too tight for Walker to try to find a seam. That time, great blocking, he had plenty of room. On first down, Kalen Holt. Peter Woolard, 12th career game for Tulane, makes the stop.
And now we're up to about 47 plays to 27 plays for Tulane. And so you're talking about the heat. You just mentioned the heat, right? This reminds me of the Buffalo game. They were up 17-7, Buffalo, on this Army offense, and they just started wearing them down. And remember, Tulane came into the game averaging more in terms of time of possession. How would their defense handle being on the field more in this game?
We're about to find out. Second down. Bradshaw spins. Pitch. Walker. Look for the edge. Chase Kirshen, true freshman from Tennessee. Really nice sideline-to-sideline pursuit.
And he got another good block outside by Jordan Asbury, number 3. He's kind of replacing John Trainor's role. Trainor was a player who was out with injury. He would align all over the place, and he's an excellent blocker. So whoever replaces John Trainor, you've got to be able to catch the football a little bit and also be able to block. And that's what Asbury has been doing all afternoon. And now he's going to line up in the slot right here. So he may motion back into the backfield.
Third down. Walker up the middle. Rajon Marbley and Harris combine on the tackle to the 30-yard line. It's a first down, gain at 6 for Kel Walker. Army, and he is pumped up. He says, we keep the ball here.
He should be pumped up. He's played well the last couple of weeks. And the coaches talked about we've got to find a way to get him the ball more. Now, what they have done in the past, they put him at the B-back position and given him some tosses down in the red zone. When they get him at the slot back, he's always a potential pitch option to the boundary or short side of the field over here.
Davidson right up the middle. Peter Willard first to get to him. Gain of 3 for Andy Davidson. Lining out more yards for Army West Point.
And Bryce Holland is back in the game. That allows Joshua Boylan to move over back to his natural position at left guard, the position he started at a year ago and has started at thus far this year. And they're going to bring in their tight end now, Quentin Parker. So let's see if they go back to that unbalance, Dave.
Have noticed that Holland back in, Corey, for the entire series. That's really good news for Army. Key part of this amazing rushing attack. Second down, pitch, Holt looks for him left. Zachary Harris meets him and drops him. Gain of 1, nice tackle.
And he got a key because he saw where the unbalanced line was at, and they often run away from it. Sometimes with tosses, he's been watching tape. And Harris gets on a beeline, and he played very well against Navy. They needed him to play well today, and they need him to step up right here on 3rd down.
It's the money down, Corey. Game's won and lost on this play. Cooper gets the carry. Plows ahead. He stopped way short. He needs the 20 for a first down. Zachary Harris has been active. It's a gain of 2. And we assume Coach Monken will go for it again here. Let's find out what he's got in mind.
I say he will go for it. And let's watch Harris get downhill. He comes off the block. Jackson holds it up again on the block against Holt. And now we're going to see Davidson come back in the game. And so that kind of changes things up a little bit. You've got your unbalanced line over here to this side. They may run away from it.
4th down try. It's Davidson. It's a first down for Army West Point to the 19. Picks up 5 hard-earned yards, barreling through tacklers. Leaving guys like Eldrick Washington on the turf. There's also another shaken up Tulane player.
Excellent block inside by Holland. He gets underneath the pad level of Wilson, and it doesn't look like a great block from that angle, but he followed right behind it.
Washington and Jackson are both shaken up for Tulane. 2 key players on the Green Wave defense.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Chase Sapphire Reserve. By PXG. Nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period. And by Experian. Identity protection has a new identity.
It's a beignet, man.
Always the question when you come to New Orleans. The famous Cafe Du Monde. Have you been there, Corey, yet?
No, but Ralph's on the Park. Local cuisine. I would recommend them. Doc ate some of those grits earlier with the veal.
Oh, my gosh.
Unbelievable.
Looks so good. Great food in the Big Easy. First down. Davidson. Big hole again in the Army. Offensive line. Quinlan Carroll, bottom of the pile, was holding his hand for a moment. He's slow to get up. And still down for Tulane.
They need a break because the way they're running the football on this drive, it's a statement drive so far.
Redshirt senior defensive end, Quinlan Carroll for Tulane. Already has his degree in management, working on a 2nd degree now in this fine academic institution. Standards are pretty high here. I was speaking with Willie Fritz about that yesterday. At both of these great academic schools and academies.
No doubt about it. Both schools have to, you've got to be able to get your ACT and SAT scores up in the thousands sometimes to get into these schools in the high 30s.
2nd down. Davidson again stays busy. Raynon Edwards, 330 pounds. Corey talked about him forcing a play outside earlier on a 4th down stop for Tulane's defense. He's been active, played well today.
He has, and Now you come to this all-important third down. They're about 50% today on third down. A lot of it has been right up the middle with the fullback dives. They're cutting off a guy like Edwards who's been active. So you could expect it to go there. They've also gone a little bit with the option, the lead option, to both sides of the field.
Third down. Bradshaw is throwing. End zone. Asbury. Intercepted. What a play by Donnie Lewis.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if there was one player who had to have his eye discipline under control after 2 weeks, he got beat against Navy for a 79-yard touchdown. And then last week, there was a miscommunication error. This week, guess what? Donnie Lewis says, no, I'm not going to get beat again. No matter the option, I'm the only option. My ball, my pick.
Interception thrown by Ahmad Bradshaw. A great play by Donnie Lewis, his second pick of the year in the end zone to preserve Tulane's 4-point lead.
Are you surprised they threw the ball? I was a little bit surprised.
I was shocked. Thought we'd see the run play. The option look to continue that drive to try to score. This week's AP Top 10 powered by Ram Trucks. I think Corey's paying attention to that game right up top.
Yeah,
your alma mater, no, your alma mater hosting Alabama on CBS.
You know I'm paying attention to that. #1 defense in the nation, Vanderbilt. Got to give a shout out to my school.
Absolutely. Thanks to the offense back on the field. Taron Ankala the catch. Reynolds can't make the play. Not a goal. And Brinson, Paul Shamoff, gain of 12 and a first down for Tulane. That's an effective first down effort.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Reynolds has got to tackle better. I mean, he missed 4 tackles a week ago, and some of it is win the run game. But that in itself, that allows you to have confidence throwing the ball when cornerbacks don't tackle.
On first down, sprint right. Nautical the pressure, and Regan almost had that pick. On the sideline, incomplete pass, good effort from Max Regan, filling in for the injured Ryan England. He was hurt last week at Ohio State.
And you got to get positive yards on second down. I would go back to the run on this play because what you haven't done is convert on third down. And it looks good that you can come out and get a first down with a pass and a missed tackle, but you need to get positive yards on this down to set up a third and manageable situation to keep the ball and not give it back to Army.
Play fake. Banks fires and broken up. Regan second play in a row with a flag down. He's had a PBU. There are actually 2 markers in the field. Let's check them out.
Well, it won't be pass interference with the tip ball, so it's probably against Tulane.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense, number 52. At penalties declined, third down.
Dominic Briggs too far ahead of the play before the ball crossed the line of scrimmage.
Another third down situation.
Third down numbers.
When they bring Jones back into the backfield and or will they throw to that right side with another dash pass?
Pressure from Brinson. Banks elusive. Deep downfield for Ankala. Flag flies. Javari Bordeaux on coverage.
Pass interference.
Pass interference.
Defense, number 25. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
You see him with the right hand right in that area. That's where the grab begins. And it's a good acting job a little bit by Ankala. But, I mean, you've got to sell it at that point. And they kind of just gave them one on the third down. They haven't converted a third down all day, and they just gave them one with 21 seconds to go in this quarter.
Key penalty. Game-changing type call. Automatic first down. Bradwell to carry. It was the initial contact. Finished off by Brinson. And got to the 49-yard line of Army West Point. Final moments of the quarter. End of the third from New Orleans.
That's the end of the third quarter.
Tulane 14 and Army 10. You're watching Armed Services Saturday on CBS Sports Network. Presented by the Home Depot.
I didn't think it was I thought it was against Joey Galloway one time.
Let's take a look at today's Chick-fil-A fan cam. Fans here at Yulman Stadium. Yulman Stadium back on campus of the Green Wave after playing in the Superdome between 1974 and 2013. And Corey, we cover games there. It was not the same experience for Tulane players, fans, coaches to be in that big dome with a small crowd. Now they're on campus, 30,000 seat stadium. It's a great fit for Tulane football.
Yeah, it's a much better atmosphere. I think the kids get into it more. Their fans are closer proximity-wise to them when they're playing.
All right, let's start the fourth quarter here in a close game. Tulane up a score. Bradwell hit right away by Alex Ackerman. Tackle for loss. It's a hot day in New Orleans, and Cassie knows about that field level.
Yes, nice and warm down here, Dave. And during Tulane's last drive, we saw those three players slow to come off the field. Well, the trainer told me it's because of the heat and cramping, so they're doing everything they can over there for hydration, giving them salts. As far as Army, they have these ice pack headbands, and also something interesting, when the players come off the field, the bigger, taller backups stand behind them on the bench, hold towels over their head as sort of a shield from the sun. So total team effort to stay cool.
Great report, Cassie. Anything you do to stay cool down there. You too. Hydrate. Third down, big play. Pressure, Army. Not a goal. Can't find Banks, who scrambles, and McClinton helps shove him out of bounds. He needed the 43 for a first down. The spot at about the 46. What is Willie Fritz going to do here? Going to kick. So many fourth down conversion attempts today, not this time. Zachary block, in a punt to Reynolds.
Can he pin them inside? The last kick he had a week ago, he was able to do it. Can he pin them inside the 5 or 10 yard line?
Lost it. Devin Glenn was right in his face. Reynolds bobbled it. There's a flag. And this is a very key call on possession inside the 15.
That catch interference is the question.
If it's kick catch interference, and the fumble wouldn't matter anyway for Reynolds. But let's see. Looking to the sun. Donnie Lewis had the ball at the end. Let's see what happened.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team, number 7, 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
So Devin Glenn for Willie Fritz, too close to Reynolds. That would have been a very big turnover. Reynolds indicates for the fair catch. Glenn got too close. Penalty against Tulane. Former Army star, defensive end and wideout Alejandro Villanueva, now a 350-pound offensive lineman for the 2-0 Steelers.
Well, I don't know if he's 350 now.
He is 6'9". What a spectacular athlete and transformation from his playing weight in college to the NFL.
You got that right, Dave. I mean, he was catching touchdown passes over anybody that would try to guard him in the red zone in Army, and now he's blocking for Ben Roethlisberger.
First down. Holt gets the carry. Jackson. Patrick Johnson on the stop. Luke Jackson, another big day defensively for Tulane. Gain of 5. Here comes this Long grind-out type drive for Army West Point to try to take the lead back.
And they're bringing Jordan Asbury back in the game, and Davidson, who's had a big game.
Second down. Davidson, 119 yards before that carry on the day. P.J. Hall. As the tackle, gain of 4. It's just shy of the first down by about half a yard. Hall, sophomore from Hoover, Alabama. His first stop of the day for Tulane's defense. This is where all that off-season conditioning comes into play, Corey. Cassie talked about the heat. Our weather apps up here in the booth, which is nice and cool compared to where Cassie is on the field, say it feels like 95 degrees. It's hot. Third and short. Holt, the carry. Harris finds him, but no progress inside the 41 for a first down.
And the demoralizing thing is that you've got somebody in position that's a good play on most down and distance situations, but not on 3rd and 1. When you stop somebody for 2 yards, you feel pretty good about it. But that's what Army strives to do. They want to get it into 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. And if they don't get it, they'll go for it on 4th down. That's their strategy as a football team and an offense, and it normally works.
Tulane shows pre-snap pressure. Davidson. Ball up after a short gain. DeAndre Williams, redshirt freshman from Baton Rouge, bottom of the pile, gain of 3. Army more than happy to run just like this with Davidson. Lost his helmet, so he's got to be out for at least one play.
And now this is the most important down for Tulane. You like to be able to get a negative yardage play in this situation, but I would be alert for the motion coming from Walker in the option.
Holt, big pickup. Still going. P.J. Hall upended him, and he's landed on his feet. That's how strong Kalen Holt is, and he just kept going. First down for Army. Tremendous effort for Holt. Gain of 9.
Well, he played linebacker, and here we go. He's coming inside, and you're seeing Joshua Boylan come around, and he kicks out, number 66, and then you can't tackle me like that, P.J. Hall. I'm going to spin out of it and keep my balance.
No elbow down, no knee down, no problem. Just keep on going.
Great play.
First down. Slocum drags tacklers to about the 44. Gain of 3 for Connor. He's been active today with Darnell Woolfolk, the junior from outside Binghamton, New York, out. Lower leg injury and no return date given for Army star B-back. But others have stepped up. And how about the game for Davidson and Holt? They played really well today.
They really have, and they've been consistent throughout. And this offensive line is really starting to get into a rhythm in this 4th quarter.
Davidson runs into trouble. The youngster Cam Sample, true freshman from Snellville, Georgia, who's played so well. Smackdown hit. His big game last week in Norman against number 2 Oklahoma, true freshman. He was 17 years old at the time. He just turned 18 this week. So imagine your first game of your collegiate career as a 17-year-old true freshman being at Oklahoma, and he played well, the coaches told us yesterday.
Yeah, he's had his impact this year. I wonder when you see his body if he can get up and add another 10 or 15 pounds.
Another big third down in a game full of them. Bradshaw keeps. Bradshaw, first down and then some. Sample does make the play in pursuit against Ahmad Bradshaw, but he picks up 11 valuable Army yards and a first down.
And Kalen Holt is the guy to watch. Watch him follow Kalen Holt, right here, number 22. You're going to see him lead the path around the corner for Bradshaw. Watch the block he makes right there. That block enables him to cut it back up inside. Excellent block by Holt. We saw the great run earlier. Good job by Holt on that last one with the block.
First down, Kalen Holt, second level and then some. Picks up 9 more rugged yards for Army. In this barometer type game for Tulane, trying to keep the trend going upward for Willie Fritz in year 2. Army has already crossed that threshold with the 8-win season last year for Jeff Monken. Coach Fritz told us yesterday, our program is so hungry for a winning season. Not a lot of winning at Tulane. 5 times in the last 35 years. That's it. 10 play of the drive. Slonka gets physical. Jackson, P.J. Hall at the bottom of the pile against Connor Slonka.
And you'll notice that Tulane is rotating their safeties in and out. P.J. Hall and Kirsten, that's a good shot from our crew of showing that P.J. Hall's leaving the field as you see Edwards down, but they're rotating their safeties to keep them fresh. They're important.
Redshirt junior from Miami, Brandon Edwards, shaken up for Tulane. College football continues. 2 more Service Academy games on tap. Up next, Navy will take on Cincinnati, trying to stay perfect on the year. Then at 7 Eastern, Air Force kicks off Mountain West play, hosting number 22 San Diego State. It's Armed Services Saturday right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Zach Havey's spectacular year, 171.5 rushing yards per game. Number 3rd in the nation among all players, helping Navy to those big numbers. Rashad Penny of San Diego State, 588 rushing yards already. They've beaten Arizona State and Stanford, taking on Air Force tonight. We'll see the Aztecs next week on CBS Sports Network against Northern Illinois. Should be a lot of fun out there.
We can't wait to go out and see the Northern Illinois defense, which beat Nebraska a week ago.
On the road, Corey. That was impressive. First down. Davidson stays busy. Jarrett Franklin, bottom of the pile. Gain of 4.
Now, one thing we want to watch on the rest of this drive, Dave, they're getting in the red zone, and one thing they like to do is run to the short side of the field. So we see where the ball is at on the right hash. And what we're going to take a look at is we're going to see whether or not they're going to run to this side of the field over here, to the right side. They have a tendency to do that, and they have the unbalanced away from that side.
Kalen Holt adding to 349 rushing yards already put up by Army in this game. It's a gain of 2. All offensive yards on the ground for the Black Knights. No passing yards all day as Holt is slow to get up, and he'll run off to the sideline.
And you've got to be alert for number 5, Kel Walker, in this part of the field. And I mean, on a couple of different situations, they could get a toss to him. They like to toss the ball into that same short side of the field again. So Connor Slonka is coming back in the game. Let's be alert for where Walker is at. And he's not to the side. Well, he is. He could get the toss from here.
On 3rd down, Slonka up the middle, depends on the spot. Needed the 7. Very close. Timeout for a measurement. Enormous measurement coming up here with 6:29 to go in the 4th quarter.
And think about what you just said, 6:29. You blink an eyebrow if you're this Tulane defense, and it's just under 7 minutes to go left in the game. And you've been out there for so long in this second half. With the heat that Cassie talked about, one thing that caught my eye, though, Army, they're wearing headbands with ice.
Saw that.
I mean, what Cassie talked about.
Look at this, Corey. It is close, but barely short.
Well, they're going to go for it anyway, so, I mean, whether it's short or not, if it had been 2 yards back, they're going to go for it. So this is definitely 4-down territory for Army.
Got the Misters here trying to keep the players cool in New Orleans. Steamy, hot September day. And 4th and about 1 inch. Army 1 for 3. 4th down tries today. Can Tulane stand tall one more time? Slonka is to be back here. Here we go. On 4th down, Slonka leaps for a first down for Army to the 5-yard line. Gain of 3. He started the day as the 4th string fullback, and he's had a big role for the Black Knights.
It tells you a lot about the confidence that they have in that B-back position, really, because we've seen Holt, we've seen Davidson, we've seen all of these different players who've replaced Woolfolk with a lot of success. I'll still be alert for that toss to the short side of the field in this area of the field.
1st and goal. Slonka. End zone. Touchdown, Army. Connor Slonka. The bulldozer for 6 for the Black Knights. His first career rushing touchdown. He had 5 career carries entering the game here. Wilson, huge PAT. And he's got it for a 3-point Army lead. No Woolfolk, no problem, right?
When it comes to bam! Oh no! Oh no! We've got a collision, and Gerard Franklin gets the Slumka effect.
Get out of the way.
College football on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Stouffer's Fit Kitchen Bowls. This is Fit. By Michelin, a better way forward. And by Principal, we can help you plan for that.
World famous French Quarter in New Orleans. Not far from the Tulane campus, Army has taken the lead on the short touchdown run from Connor Slomka. First career touchdown run for the sophomore from Wexford, Pennsylvania, outside Pittsburgh. Brave kicks off here.
You can see where he's placing the football. There's a shot of Sherman Beatty, who's one of the best in the country at returning kickoffs. Again, we're really looking to see whether or not they're going to keep the ball to this hash when they return it or try to go back to the field.
Deep kick. And Beatty watches that one hit the end line of the end zone for a touchback. Time for Experian protecting the pocket.
Well, Jonathan Banks has thrown the ball a little bit more than what we expected, or not necessarily what we expected, but with more efficiency maybe coming off of injury. Cassie talked about him returning earlier, and he's done pretty well in terms of his delivery. Now, if they're going to throw it again, I think Jay Bateman is one of the best defensive coordinators in the country, the coach for Army. He's absolutely outstanding when it comes to bringing pressure.
First down, play fake. Banks feels the heat. Washley and Wunmi Oyatuga make sure he stays down after a short gain. Good coverage. Second down. Play fake again with some pressure. Delivers to Onkalad. Regan nearly reaching back. Trying to make the pick for Army. It's incomplete. And Banks took a shot as he released the pass.
Well, you're going to see the isolation outside. It was a really good route by Onkalad. Not a great angle on the close by Reynolds, but the pressure inside from Nautigal. We just talked about it before the drive started. Jay Bateman knows how to attack your offensive line play in terms of where the openings will be. I wouldn't be surprised if he brings pressure here again on third down.
Third and 7. Nautigal, the coverage on Taron Onkalad, and it's incomplete. On the pass over the middle would have been a first down on the sticks route. And what's Willie Fritz got in mind here? Fourth down with under 5 minutes to go. And all 3 timeouts in our fourth quarter.
Well, it's a big decision if you decide to go for it here. You're worried about Army keeping the ball the rest of the game if you punt it. So they're going to take a chance to go for it.
Wow.
And a little bit of a surprise.
Big gamble from the 27. QB draw. Gibson with the shoulder blow sends him backwards. But he did pick up 10 yards and has the first down. James Gibby Gibson with the stand-up hammer. And Banks is slow to get up. Wow.
Hey, James Gibson is still celebrating. You won't see this on a video game. Wow. Oh, you can't make that up. Ah. Hey, I'm telling you, hey, we talked about earlier, Cassie had the report about the rib injury. And by the way, a completely legal hit.
So Banks is going to come out, at least for one play. Having been attended to by trainers. So McLean is getting loose. Brantley's getting loose. They're both warming up on the sideline here to replace Banks, who did get the first down.
Well, I would bring in Brantley. I think he's thrown the ball well enough that if you've got to go to, if you want to continue, you've been throwing the ball on this drive. I think Brantley would be my choice, but they seem to have a lot of confidence in the potential of McLean. And it looks like they may give him a shot.
Willie, Fritz, both quarterbacks warming up as Banks very slowly, with the help of trainers, walks back to the Green Wave bench.
And if they do bring in McLean, does that mean he's past Brantley on the depth chart?
That's a good indicator. Got to go the true freshman from Creekside, Georgia, Khalil McLean. Banks on the bench. Brantley stays on the bench. 6'3", 220. Star High School player in the state of Georgia. Takes over the reins. How about this? Play fake, and he's throwing. McLean, flush right. Gonna run it now. McLean. Gibson is there, and he throws him down again without leaving his feet, along with Bordeaux and Cole Christensen. I mean, James Gibby Gibson is getting physical here, Corey.
Hey, you like the nickname, and I like the game. I tell you, it's nothing he's done since I've been watching them play, and I haven't liked this season. And
Banks has returned here.
That was a quick recovery.
It sure was. He was slow to walk off, but back in the game.
Just find number 2 and stay away from him.
Second down, heat from Brinson. Banks, flush right, the fake. Banks, still on his feet. Here comes Gibson again. And he throws cross field, and it's incomplete at the 40 on a wild play.
I wonder, did Ardoin, did he get his hands underneath that and catch it? It looks like they're spotting that as a catch. Maybe not. I guess that was.
He was right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it looked like you just.
Kendall Ardoin almost had that catch for Tulane, and it was an amazing job by Banks to elude the rush. And here comes another huge third down play. 0 for 7 on the day. 1 for 1 on fourth down for the Green Wave.
And they may bring Ankala back in motion into the backfield.
Banks the pitch. Dontrell Hilliard gets the 43, needs the 47 for a Green Wave first down. It's a gain of 3. Here comes another huge fourth down.
4th down and 3. You want to make sure you've got your best play with 3 minutes to go. You've got 3 timeouts. I would at least consider maybe using one right here so you can get your best play. They're going to run smash 7s or, you know, corner routes with the slot receivers on this play.
No timeouts. Play of the game. 4th down. Banks throwing. Catch made. Cluess has the grab. Jabril Cluess. And it's a first down for Tulane inside the 45, down to the 43, stopped by Regan.
And now if you're Army, will you go to any type of man coverage in this situation? It looks like Tulane has made the decision. They're going to open it up the rest of this drive.
What a conversion.
And discard the run game.
And they preserve the timeouts. Off again at 13. On first down, sideline Robertson, intended receiver with Reynolds on coverage. And it's incomplete.
He had him open, too. I mean, he just airmailed that one. And as long as they leave Charles Jones the second in the game, there is the possibility of the run.
Marek Glover, sophomore from Long Island, is the top kicker today for Willie Fritz. 10th play of the drive here. Play fake. Ackerman, the pressure. Alex Ackerman had Banks in the grasp. Banks got rid of it. Let's see if that's grounding.
They're going to talk about it.
Officials discussing.
There's no foul for intentional grounding. Number 15 is in the area.
All right, no grounding, which is a huge call because you lose it down on that penalty.
Well, it's 3rd and 10, and here's where they've struggled the entire afternoon. They're going to have 2 tight ends in the game on this play.
Still no timeout. 3rd down. Pressure from Gibson. Banks going to run it. Banks first down and then some, and slides down wisely in front of Regan to avoid a hit. Gets the first down for Tulane inside the 30. A gain of 15 yards for the Green Wave.
Well, the pressure comes from over this way, and that opens the lane up in here. He sees it, and then he's able to run and do a really good job of, with his vision, of being able to find and prevent himself from taking another shot.
First down. Corner blitz. Robertson the catch. Reynolds wrestles him down. About the 22. Clock rolls. Under 90 ticks remaining. Fading 4th quarter clock here. Gain of 5. All 3 timeouts still for Tulane. Banks throwing sideline route. Ankala the catch in front of Reynolds.
That's a route they've gone to 3 times on this drive, the out route. And actually that time Mike Reynolds came close to saying, I've had enough of that one. And he almost jumped it. He didn't quite pull the trigger. And if I'm Tulane in this situation with 3 timeouts, I would run the ball here.
3rd and short. What a drive for the Green Wave. Banks keeps. Banks first down. Brinson into the stop along with the captain John Voight, defensive end for the Black Knights. Clock rolling. 1:10 and counting. First down for Tulane. And Jeff Monken wants a timeout for Army.
Well, that's a smart timeout. I think they had Army on their heels a little bit, and they needed a break.
We'll take a break too. Great finish all the way in New Orleans. All right, Corey, let's take a look at today's Bud Light game summary. 2 100-yard rushers in Davidson and Hilliard today.
2 100-yard rushers, but Tulane, the reason they haven't called a timeout, look at that. They've only had about 20 minutes today. They normally dominate time of possession, 34 minutes a game coming into this one, but now you've got the big play potential of the Army defense. And the reason why I say that, defensive coordinator Jay Bateman, there was a reason why you got Jeff Monken to hire this guy, because when they were at Georgia Southern and Elon, he had to play against him at Elon. He had the 4th-ranked defense in the nation. Army had the 4th-ranked defense in the nation last year. So one thing about Jay Bateman, he understands your protection schemes. And if I'm Tulane, I would not forget about the run game. Bring the option game back into it here at least once or twice.
4th year leading the Army defense for Jeff Monken.
He loves to bring pressure from the wide side of the field as well, the field-type pressure. So we get a look at it again. We're going to see when they line up, if they want to throw it, be careful because he knows how to attack your offensive line from the wide side of the field.
And, Corey, if you're thinking about a field goal try for Tulane to tie the game, they've only made one all year. That was against Grambling in the season opener. Their top kicker, Marek Glover, has never made a field goal in his career.
Wow.
So that could put the pressure on the sophomore from Long Island if he's called on to try to tie the game here. Off the timeout. First down. Banks throwing, broken up by Reynolds. On the ball intended for Uncle out in the end zone. What a play by Mike Reynolds.
And I told you a little bit earlier, he almost jumped one out route. And this is an excellent close by Reynolds. He almost ended the game. Oh, that's a tremendous effort from a cornerback. And I talked about those corner routes from the slot earlier. Let's see if they go to that at some point.
Second down. Dontrell Hilliard stopped by Brinson. Washley and Reynolds into the stop. Here comes a timeout. Gain of 3 there for Dontrell Hilliard. 55 seconds remaining now in the fourth quarter. So Marek Glover, a sophomore from Long Island, had a couple of PATs against Oklahoma last week. The first string kicker had been Kobe Neenan, but he missed 3 PATs early this season, including 1 at Navy, 2 against Grambling State. So Glover has replaced him. So as we talked about, 2015 at Michie Stadium, what a game between these two teams. Showing by 21 Black Knights rally. Bradshaw, Edgar Allan Poe, 11-yard touchdown pass. Tied it under 2 to play, but Andrew DeRocco, 35-yard field goal at the gun. Splits the uprights. And the Green Wave won by 3 at West Point, 34-31. Another great matchup here today. Third down. Banks gonna run it. Banks lunging ahead. Got to the 6. Timeout. Willie Fritz.
Now you've got a big decision to make right here.
Fourth down coming up. Gain of 6 for Banks.
Do you say we're going to end it and keep the ball in our hands, or we're going to kick a field goal? When anything bad can happen, a bad snap, you've got to think about a lot of different scenarios. And that's where this fourth down becomes so much bigger than it normally would be. And he almost got that first down. With one more lunge, he would have had it.
What are you doing, Corey?
I'm going for it. I'm not going to go with the field goal. I don't want to put it in the hands of the kicker. I think it's an opportunity for your football team. If we want to go to a bowl game, we're going to sit up right now against this Army football team, and we're going to get a first down, particularly with 2 timeouts left. Now, if you don't get it, it looks like they're going to go for it, then everything changes. But he's doing what I would do.
In a game full of huge third and fourth down convergence, here we go again. Ball game on the line. On fourth down, whistles first. Hang on, timeout Army before the snap.
Timeout Army, their second timeout of the half.
Now that was a good timeout because they were going to the 2-point play that they used against Navy to actually, and that was the exact same play that they were going to go to on that play.
Charles
so now,
Jones the second caught it.
He did, and now what you've done if you're Jay Bateman, we just talked about him. Now you've seen the 2-point play that they were going to go to. So how do you come back and adjust your defense accordingly? And do you kick the field goal now?
18th play of the drive coming up here for Tulane. As Jay Bateman talks things over and Glover thinks about it. So after the timeout, are you still going for it?
Yes, I'm going to go for it again. And the reason why is my team, you could tell that he would, when you looked at Banks after that play, he couldn't believe it that they called a timeout because he thought they had it. And so you want to build off this. It could be a momentum builder for your season if you can get this first down. Conversely, it can go the other way if you don't.
Here we go again. 4th and 1.
And they're going to run up to the huddle and try to do a quicker snap again. We'll see that come up here in a second with this offensive line. You may get a receiver screen out of it at the top of the screen.
For the game, it's Hilliard lunging forward. First down, Tulane. He got it to the 4-yard line. Gain of 2. Dontrell Hilliard stopped by McClain.
Now you got one timeout left, and you've got an injury by Tyler Johnson. He's limping, so he's going to stay in the game, though, number 50. He was limping, and the clock is running. So you've got to be thinking about what that next play is. Got to be aware of Teron Archuleta at all times.
First down. Banks keeps. Banks, end zone. Touchdown, Tulane. Jonathan Banks.
And for a team that had 9 plays all half, they go on a 19-play, 75-yard drive and ended off with Banks, who had been injured coming into this game. What a statement.
Glover, the PAT, and now Army's got to have a touchdown with only one timeout left.
And he had his mind made up on that one. It didn't matter about a pitch read or, who had the pitch or about rules. I'm going to fake this ball, and I'm going to get it in the end zone, and I'm going to make my teammates believe in me the rest of this season and even our record up at 2-2. That's his thinking.
Willie Fritz told us yesterday he loves the attitude of Jonathan Banks. He's a winner. Fourth school, 2 JCs, a year at Kansas State. Didn't play for Coach Snyder of the Big 12 and transferred to Tulane, where he's taken over, had a great spring, won the job outright from Jonathan Brantley.
And we talked about it on that drive. Would you get back to your personality? You had thrown the ball a lot. Would you get back to running the football? They did that off of their base plays. And now they've got to do a good job in kickoff coverage. Don't forget, you've got one of the more underrated kickers out of the independents in Kale Walker. So if you're going to kick the ball, which we've talked about all afternoon, I would probably do a squib kick here and not kick it to Walker.
Zachary Block, big kickoff. On the ground, Washley grabs it and then pitches back to Asbury. Hang on a minute. Tackle made by Perry Nickerson on coverage. As they try with Nautigal, who had it, the third player to touch it for Army West Point. Banks got hit hard by Gibby Gibson with the shoulder drop. Left the game for a play and then came back and put Tulane ahead with a short touchdown run. Amazing.
It is, and right now we're going to see Kelvin Hopkins Jr. He's the quarterback that they like to go to Army in these situations because he can throw the football. And so now you've got to try to take a shot, and maybe Kel Walker will get a chance down the field.
Only 16 seconds. Feeling some heat, gonna run. And Wilson puts him down. Sean Wilson, an aggressive play head-to-head with Hopkins. And a timeout called by Army.
Army, their third and final timeout.
Only 6 seconds left in the fourth.
And I think that in this situation, you got to go to a hook and lateral.
Please reset the game clock to 8 seconds.
I think that's your best chance.
0-0-8. Thank you.
And the reason I say that, Dave, is because how many quarterbacks can throw the football 80 yards? Very few. So a hook and lateral, something of that nature where you get the ball into one of your receivers' hands, and then maybe they can pitch it back to Kel Walker. That potentially is really your only option at this point of the game.
Bradshaw does not have the arm strength for the deep passes that Hopkins, who entered the day as a third-string quarterback, does, a sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Well, the coaches told us he would play in the 2-minute situations. This is a 2-minute situation, and even on third down, and they had to have it. So that's just something that they do schematically in terms of their personnel.
Only has one passing attempt on the season. He's 0 for 1.
And here's Walker down here at the bottom, their most explosive player.
Timeout called by Tulane.
Tulane, their third and final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
All timeouts exhausted in the second half for coaches Monken and Fritz. And Willie Fritz, who told us yesterday, this program is so hungry to take that next step. 4 wins last year, trying to get a bowl win this year for the first time since 2002. Haven't played in a bowl game since 2013 under Curtis Johnson. It's a rebuild, and he's done that at the JC level, Division II level, FCS, and FBS with a lot of success.
And, you know, if he wins this game, this is a 199th career win. He flat out, along with these assistant coaches, Jack Curtis and really Doug Ruse, they've been together a while. You could even look on the other side with Jeff Monken. You've got 2 of the better coaches in the country in this game, and this game has proven that out to be true.
8 seconds left. Could be the last chance for Army. Hopkins steps up. Some pressure. Throws, it's incomplete. Knocked aside by Jared Franklin. And that, with 1 second left, is almost the end of our football game here today.
It's a good play by Jared Franklin. He came in and, you know, he had to play a little bit earlier in the game, but he's a player that Jack Curtis, their defensive coordinator, feels like can do pretty much anything on the football field.
Only 3 will rush here, 8 dropping back in coverage for Tulane. Keep the receiver in front of you. That's the key. 1 second left. Hopkins steps up. Pressure from Ade Aruna. Calvin Hopkins into traffic. Intercepted by Nickerson to end the game. 12th career interception for Perry Nickerson of Tulane. And the Green Wave takes a big step forward by knocking off Jeff Monken and Army 21-17. Beginning armed services Saturday in style for Green Wave fans. Fantastic football game, Corey, here today.
Unbelievable game. I think both teams they executed pretty well when you look at just in terms of how they finished the game. I think that was the most impressive part for the Tulane side of it. They hadn't been able to stay on the field because of Army's success getting them off of the field, and then they go on a 19-play drive that serves notice to everybody that we are going to be a factor in the American Conference.
Four wins last year for Tulane, only 1 in conference play. And Willie Fritz, with his long history of turnarounds, takes a big step in the right direction this afternoon. Army had no completions today. Tulane had 2 picks. Timeout for the Army alma mater. Tulane players will hustle over to honor United States Military Academy with the Army players. Nice show of respect for the Green Wave players, celebrating their win here today. As always, punctuated by the Beat Navy chant. But Corey, today they could not beat a very stubborn, resilient Tulane team with all those 4th down conversions. And quarterback Jonathan Banks leads the Green Wave to a huge win.
You kind of knew the game would go down to the wire. As it began to materialize at the half, we could see where there was one team that they were winning with the big plays in Tulane, and they would have to be able to sustain a drive to beat an Army team that simply, when they get into a rhythm, you don't get the ball back.
And Tulane will go to the other end of the field in front of their band and their alma mater as well. Celebrate their victory here today.
Yes! Set. 5, 6.
Since 2000, Tulane has had 3 winning seasons. There's not been a lot of celebrating for Green Wave players, coaches, and fans. They're going to enjoy this one. And Dr. Rick Weiner, our ace statistician at his alma mater, has come up with another beauty. The last time no completions allowed goes back to Vanderbilt, 1961 for Tulane.
I hope that doesn't happen today against Alabama.
Willie Fritz got to be pretty happy, joined by Cassie field level.
Yes, Dave, coach is all smiles right now. Congratulations. You told us this would be a dogfight. What made the difference?
Well, we had about 3 or 4 stands on defense that really helped us. They drove the ball. I mean, they killed us in time of possession. But when the offense needed to step up there at the end, they did.
Walk us through that last drive. 3 huge 4th down plays. What did you see? What were you thinking?
Well, but Banks improvised and did a tremendous job of improvising. Really did a good job with his legs and also with his arm and really helped us win this ball game. Great job by Jonathan.
What is it like as a coach to watch these big 4th down plays?
Oh, I've been doing them for a long time, so I just, it's just part of the game. We know ahead of time if we're going to go for it or not and all, and that's a good job by those guys.
And Banks is still dealing a little bit big hugs here. All right, we'll talk to you now. Congratulations. Congratulations on the win. Walk us through that last drive, those 3 big 4th down conversions.
Yeah, it's pretty big, exciting. Growing up, I always wanted to, make the big play, help my team make the big play. So, I was ready for the moment. I had an injury that brought me out for the last 2 games. I really couldn't run like I wanted to in the first half, but had to pick it up and be able to run to help my team.
And how are you doing? You took some big hits in this game. How are the ribs doing?
I guess off adrenaline, I feel great right now because we got the last-minute win. But, Monday I definitely feel going to the bye week, recover, get my body together, and get ready for FIU.
Describe the focus that you had during these big plays, these big 4th down conversions.
I was focused. I was really into the game, locked in. Being able to read the coverages, being able to get to my read keys and other guys to help me contribute to be able to move the ball down the field.
It also helps that you do have those guys to help you out. Your running backs came up with some big plays too.
Oh, yes.
What did you like about what they brought to the game today?
I feel like my running backs, they did a good job, reading holes. We had 3 or 4 running backs come in and be able to give us a little spark, take it off me a little bit so I could be able to throw the ball. Also, our offensive line did a fantastic job opening up them holes for the running backs as well.
Congratulations. You have a bye week to go rest up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
Cassie, thanks so much. Jonathan Banks, one happy Green Wave player along with his head coach, Willie Fritz. After the break, our guys in Annapolis will get you ready for the Cincinnati Navy game, a big-time early season American Conference matchup, Bearcats and Mids. It's a preview right after this. College football continues. 2 more Service Academy games on tap. Up next, Navy will continue to look for their perfect start to that to continue this year. They take on Cincinnati. American Conference play at 7 Eastern. Then San Diego State from the Mountain West against Air Force. Aztecs ranked number 22 in the nation, opening up Mountain West play. Here, Army, Tulane, and what a finish for Dontrell Hilliard and the Green Wave. Hilliard joined by Cassie Field Level.
Thanks, Dave. Dontrell, congratulations on the win. Walk us through that first play of the game. You come up with the big touchdown run.
Yeah, our biggest thing was to come out and set the tempo. And the O-line did a great job blocking, getting everybody blocked up. And it was easy for me to just run through the hole and do what I do.
Jonathan Banks came in, started the game, but still dealing with a little bit of a rib injury. What about his mental toughness and how he took those big hits today?
Yeah, he's got to be one of the mental guys I've seen, I played with. He came out, even though he was still kind of hurting a little bit, he came out far through it. I just asked him, give me what you got. And if you can't go no more, just let me know. And I try to do my best to try to take over and talk to the team with it.
This week, Coach talked a lot about rebuilding and how this game was a barometer for this season. What can you guys use moving forward?
To take this momentum and go into the season, keep fighting, finishing every game, and just stay focused and just play our game.
Dontrell, thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Job well done for Hilliard, 134 rushing yards and that big touchdown. 75 yards on the first play from scrimmage. A great start for Tulane. Corey, as we check the final numbers. That TOP, time of possession, is remarkable for Army, but they come up a little bit short today.
I think it comes down for Army moving forward, stopping the big plays. We saw that with Tyree Jackson against Buffalo. Then he hit them over the top. You saw it last week again with Campbell Jr., Paris Campbell Jr. from Ohio State, another big play. So they've got to be able to do that.
Well, you talk about Tulane, and Cassie asked Dontrell Hilliard a moment ago about the barometer victory. This is a program that has not won a bowl game since 2002, beat Hawaii in the Hawaii Bowl. They have not had a lot of winning here. This is what you want to do to make that step in the right direction, right?
I think it's what you want to do because their football team played good defense a year ago. They've had a draft pick in Tanzel Smart who's producing for the Rams. So you know they've got talent on defense, and now the offense starting to match.
For Corey Chavis, Cassie McKinney, the entire CBS Sports Network crew, I'm Dave Ryan saying so long. It's been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Armed Services Saturday continues. Now we send it out to Annapolis. John Sadak, Randy Cross, she and Stanley Birch on the call. Cincinnati taking on Navy in the American Conference.